Early on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb. It was still dark. Dark not only because the sun had not yet risen in the morning, but dark because the forces of political and religious domination had rid the world of what threatened them. Dark because the threatening one, Jesus, who taught to love indiscriminately and recklessly, and his words and actions were an affront to the powers that believed in a strict observance of the law, that would protect God's honor. And Jesus taught that God's honor did not need their protecting, that the law was to free us to acts of love, not constrain us. Jesus claimed an intimacy with God, and by calling God his Father, he was accused of blasphemy, punishable by death. The powers had crucified his body and snuffed out his message of hope. It was dark. It was dark because political power demanded unswerving allegiance, and Jesus was unflinching in his allegiance to his higher power, his Father. And he would teach his followers to pledge themselves to God as well, above all earthly rulers. It was dark. And it can feel dark in our world today, where governments, our government, and religious powers of people of diverse faith cling to the truth in the divine, but drop bombs and launch missiles. I don't know about you, but I woke this morning in fear, wondering what news there might be. It has been dark as the death penalty executions have been planned because drugs will expire. And I'm grateful that there's been a temporary stay in that light breaks in. Dark as people of faith debate about bathroom use for transgender people. And dark when young black men fear being stopped by police because of a broken taillight. Or Muslim men, women, and children plead at our borders for a safe place to live and are told not here. Or Latino youth fleeing gang violence are held in detention because they are threatening. It was dark. The death of Jesus, the hope for Messiah, the one who they believed would flip the powers of domination in their favor. From those in power to those who had no power, they hoped there would be a flip, and that the poor and the oppressed would now be in domination. But Jesus never had a message of any kind of domination. It was always of service and indiscriminate love. It was dark on that first day of the week because it seemed that the domination powers had been successful. They had put an end to the life and teaching of this man Jesus. When Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb, she finds it empty. And then she assumes that grave robbers have come and taken his body. There had been rumors because Jesus had talked about rising from the dead. But who could believe that? Someone must have stolen the body. Little does she know that it is not grave robbers trying to prevent what would certainly be a problem from Rome if Jesus busts out of the tomb. But Jesus' resurrection is not an uprising, no pun intended, uprising against the Roman reign, but rather an insurrection against the reign of death, the reign of all domination. Mary assumes, though, that body snatchers have come. She goes and tells two of the disciples, and then we get this little comic relief. It's a little bit of Abbott and Costello to break the tension. Running this way and that way. The two disciples popping in and out of the tomb. They're just so funny. One getting there before the other. Why these details are there, I don't know. And then running off stage again. It says they believed. And all we know is, they believed that the tomb was empty. And we know if you read past what the gospel was today, that they went into hiding. They went and closed the doors for fear of the Jews. They only believed that the body was gone, not that he had risen from the dead. They knew they better get out of there too, because their lives would be in danger. Mary either doesn't care about the threat to her own life, for identifying with Jesus, or it's just that she's so grief-stricken that nothing else matters. But it is when she is feeling vulnerable and broken, when it is not yet fully light, that she sees the garden. Isn't that how it is for us as well at times? We are so often aware that we are in the presence of the divine, and we don't even see it. Jesus incognito. Because as Jesus had already told the disciples, he will come again in disguise. He will come in the disguise of the hungry, the thirsty, the naked, the sick, the prisoner. And the gospel, again, with a little comic glimpse, is Jesus in a big floppy gardener hat with a trowel and clippers. Or is it that Jesus is unidentifiable because he appears as an ordinary man? An ordinary man, like as a Latino immigrant or a Muslim refugee or an LGBT teen. Mary has the best lines in the gospel. And here she asks the gardener, "Where have you put the body? So I can go and get it." You know, when you step back from it, you know, we read the gospel, it's so holy, but there's so much comic in there, and we really need to play Howard to act this out. Because she asks to go get the body as though somehow she's going to pick up the body of Jesus and sling it over her shoulder and put it back in the tomb. Put it safe in the tomb. Mary has good intentions, but her vision of serving Jesus is as helpful as trying to keep Jesus safe inside anywhere. Safe inside here, in the church. I can't be too critical though, because I'm sure I would say the same. It was disturbing. It was offensive to think that someone had gone into the tomb and disturbed the body of Jesus. And yet, she's going to find out that something far more disturbing has occurred. And it isn't until Mary hears Jesus call her name that she realizes that he is alive. And he intends to let the first disciples and us know that he meant what he said as he taught and healed and hung out with all sorts when he walked in Galilee. Jesus was not an innocent man. He was guilty of indiscriminate love. He was an offense by who he hung out with. And he taught us to do the same. As Clarence Jordan, who was a co-founder of the Koinonia Farm, it was an experiment of interracial community that started in the 1940s to the 60s in Georgia. And he was also very much a part of the founding of Habitat for Humanity. He has said, "The resurrection of Jesus was simply God's unwillingness to take no for an answer. The domination powers of this world do not get the last word. He raised Jesus, not as an invitation to us to come to heaven when we die, but as a declaration that he himself has now established permanent, eternal residence on earth. The good news of the resurrection of Jesus is not just that when we die we'll go home to be with him, but that he has died and come to be with us, always, for all time. And he comes home with us bringing all his hungry, thirsty, naked, prisoner, migrant, refugee, transgender friends with him. He is standing beside us, strengthening us in this life. He was standing beside Mary, strengthening her. And she wants to hold on to him. She wants to keep that moment just private, just personal. Can I just keep you here? And Jesus says, "No, you can't hold on to me. You'll have to let go and trust that I will hold on to you, even when you can't see me." He will instruct her now to be a preacher and a missionary and a witness. And in those days, women's testimony was not considered valid. A woman's word was not valid. Now, some of you are kind of going, "Oh, it wasn't. But then there goes Jesus, giving ministry to women, significant ministry. He would give to her the words to go to those disciples, the men, the chosen ones, the scared ones, the soon-to-be the bold ones who would go into the world. But they weren't ready yet. They needed Mary's words. And Jesus gives her the sermon message. He says, "Tell my brothers." And it's the first time he uses that word in the gospel, because before it was disciples or friends, but now it's family. "Tell my brothers that I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Don't get hung up on father, mother, parent. Those were the language of the time, and that was what they knew, that the Father was the one who protected and provided. And so Jesus is saying, this is your Father and my Father. These brief words, it is a bold proclamation which got Jesus killed for blasphemy. And now he's telling his brothers, you be bold as well. Because my Father is your Father. My God is your God. And you are invited into an intimate, personal relationship. Personal, but not private. And you will be preachers and missionaries and witnesses of light. You will be sent out with strength and courage to love and serve the Lord with gladness and singleness of heart. Into the classrooms and boardrooms and on your Facebook and in your Snapchat. To say, I have seen the Lord. And he told me to tell you I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Do you want to see the risen Lord? Don't be afraid of encountering him in the dark. To keep your eyes open for Jesus incognito. Remember that all the powers that tried to snuff out the life and message of Jesus were unsuccessful. The powers of violence and domination are still trying to snuff out the subversive message of Jesus. But the risen Jesus now lives in you and me. And that light of Christ is stronger than darkness. And so we boldly proclaim, Hallelujah! The Lord is risen. The Lord is risen indeed. Hallelujah!